What's good, fam? What's good? I.O.B.A. I'm TC. So, yeah, I got a chance to check out the rest of Jason Black's podcast. Pan-Africanism is a two-way street. And it got deep. It got motherfucking deep as hell. I mean, a bunch of people got their feelings hurt. Especially people from Africa and the Caribbean. I mean, they were calling in and accusing Jason Black of causing division among the black diaspora and saying that, ADOS is divisive and, that same old shit and that they've been saying. But Jason Black, he's not to be fucked with like that. And I agree. What he was doing was acknowledging a split and a division that's been there for decades, that's been there for a long, long, long time. People from Africa and people from the Caribbean, they don't want to vibe with us like that. They don't want nothing to do with us half the time. And now that we are ADOS, foundational black Americans, American descendants of slaves, African American, whatever the fuck term you want to use, now that we have acknowledged that split, and now that we have taken our issues into our own hands and decided that we have to do, for ourselves, we have to get our reparations from the people that owe them to us on our own and without the help of anybody else, they seem to think that we are somehow taken from them or that we are somehow harming them. They called up last night and said things like they don't derive any benefit from being an immigrant, that black Americans don't do anything for them and haven't done anything for them, so why should they do anything for us? All kinds of shit like that they were saying. But Jason Black handled them one at a time, and it got heated at some point, but he handled them one at a time and very effectively. Now I tell you, like I said in my other video, it's been my experience that once Africans found out that I wasn't from the continent, or once Caribbeans found out that I wasn't Caribbean, they treated me altogether different. I mean, like when I was working up in Syracuse, like I said in my other video, I had a couple of cats that, used to work with me. And I say with me, but I was their supervisor. And I had to, I hate to say pull rank, but I had to sometimes because they had this contemptuous attitude towards me, or they thought they could anyway until they got checked. One or two of them, I would sit down and have, real conversations with. And I asked them why they feel like that. And a lot of times they would, come at me with that black people don't know their culture bullshit, or they'll say that black people in the United States are lazy and that black people don't take advantage of that. All of the same old fucking bullshit that they hear from white people, they would tell me. And I know it's a lie. I know they're lies. And they know, and in their heart of hearts that they're lies, but they can't help it. They've been conditioned to believe that they are better than us walking in the door. I mean, before they could get a visa, they get vetted and before they're allowed to come over here. Because if they got a pro-black attitude, they won't get the visa. They won't get to come over here. And so, or come up from the Caribbean. They won't get it. So they come in here with a preconceived notion about us. And then when they get to try to, and they're forced to interact with us, they already think that they, dealing with an inferior. And that's the kind of shit that he was telling me, and that has been, my basic experience dealing with Africans and Caribbeans. I mean, back in the day, right? And when I say back in the day, I'm not talking too far back. I'm talking 03, 04, when I was up in Syracuse and I was single and I was out there dating. And I think I might have mentioned this before. And, you know, just for the hell of it, I you know, throw some game at a Jamaican girl or throw some game at one of them African women, and they ain't want shit to do with me. They ain't want a motherfucking thing to do with me. You know. And, hey, I ain't no motherfucking Denzel Washington, but I ain't no goddamn, you know, I ain't no slouch either. But it wasn't the fact that, you know, I didn't look right or anything like that. It was the fact that I was American. And they had been schooled and told to stay the fuck away from American men. I couldn't get nowhere with none of them. I didn't try that hard, but I couldn't get nowhere with none of them. And then you'll see him a couple of weeks later with some bum-ass African dude, and the only reason they dating him is because he from their homeland. But, you know, I'd be like, whatever, fuck it, it's your loss. You know, but no. The women didn't want anything to do with us. That's my point. So the division was already there. They can you know, stop that bullshit about ADOS is divisive and Tariq Nasheed and Jason Black and the rest of us are causing a division. The division was already there, and the division was created by Africans and Caribbeans. I mean, like, say for example, I run into a Jamaican because I got this Jamaican flag hanging off my rearview mirror. And they'll see it and they'll roll up on me and ask me, you know, where I'm from, or am I Jamaican, or are my parents Jamaican or something like that. And I'll say no. And they'll say, well, why do you have a Jamaican flag in your car? They'll say, I saw the flag and I thought you was, and I'd be like, no, it's representative of the music I like. I like reggae music and I like old school dance hall. I really do. From back in like the early 80s. I really dig that shit. And that's why I have the flag in my truck. But I'm not Jamaican. And then they'll treat me altogether different. Same with if they see me with an African symbol on. Like I have a picture of the continent of Africa on a shirt I'm wearing, or have some, you know, some symbolism of Africa, of the African continent near me or on me or something. And some dude from Nigeria or Ghana or somewhere will roll up on me and ask me, you know, if I'm from, you know, and I'll be like, no, I'm from the U.S. Whole attitude shift, whole attitude change, and not for the better. Now, when they start, you know, getting slick, talking slick out the mouth and everything, they get checked, and they get, you know, corrected and dealt with, but that don't stop them from acting fucked up in the first place once they find out I'm American. So the division was already there. That's the point. The division was already there. Pan-Africanism ain't coming from their side. It's coming from our side, you know. So that's the type of shit that was going on last night in Jason Black's conversation. But again, he was handling each and every one of them. So, but at the very end, there was an older brother that got on, an African dude that got on, a really thick accent. But he was one of the few people that from Africa that called in, that understands how black people in this country paved the way and made it possible for them to even migrate here. He was one of the few people that understands the ADOS movement doesn't have anything to do detrimental to. It's not detrimental to Africans. It's not detrimental to Caribbeans. It's not meant to put anybody down or box anybody out. It's meant to get the United States government to acknowledge a wrong it's done to a certain group of people, and that they must atone for that original sin. That's what it's meant to do. And I think that people from Jamaica and people from African countries who've been colonized and enslaved, again, they need to go ahead and deal with the countries that did that shit to them. Some of them are, but they need to make that shit, make more of an effort at it, and not try to come into the United States and cut down our movement. They can't do that, and they can't think that because ADOS is pushing forward, and because we pushing for our reparations and the things that are owed to us, it's not a slight to them. It's not meant to do them any disservice. It really don't have anything to do with them, and they can't seem to understand that. I mean, there was a motherfucker calling Jason Black a sellout. A sellout. Yeah, he was mad at the motherfucker because he was saying that we're trying to separate ourselves from people who we already fucking separated from. Anyway, when you get a chance, go over to the Black Authority, TBA, and take some time out if you ain't doing nothing, and listen to them phone calls that come in. And you'll see what I mean. Them people straight up butt hurt because they got to hold their own nuts. And another point real quick, you're telling people to hold their own nuts. This is what ADOS is. It's us holding our own fucking nuts. We're not asking for any support or help from anybody else. We're doing it on our own. It's what a lot of people have been telling us all along. You people don't stick together. Okay, so now we sticking together and motherfuckers is mad. I feel like this. Screw them if they can't understand what's going on. Screw them if they can't understand what's going on with the ADOS movement. It's just that simple. And if you can understand what's going on, well then good. Let it be an example that you take back to Jamaica or to Nigeria or to Somalia or Sudan or South Africa or wherever you from. Let it be an example that that's what y'all must be doing at home in order to get made whole by the white people that enslaved you. That's the example that y'all need to be taking. Instead of coming over and talking about you are dividing and we can't get nowhere with division and blah, 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 blah. That's bullshit. That's all just bullshit. That's all just, like I said before, that's all people afraid of, being left out in the motherfucking cold. Really. But you're not being left out in the cold. Not really, but that's what they think. Again, you got a million or so Jamaicans here, 100,000 Africans there, some Dominicans over here, small pockets of individuals there, but you got 30 million ADOS. All right? And we separate from y'all. Y'all are really, really tiny minority. You become almost invisible. Almost. And maybe that's their fear. I don't know. They lose the support of the 30 or 40 million black people in this country. Maybe that's their fear. I don't know. But ADOS is going to move on. And it's got to move on. It's got to. It's got to. Like I said before, you got motherfucking politicians thinking that they can win elections without our vote. They thinking they don't need us. And that's fine if they think that. That's fine if they think that. They're going to have a rude fucking awakening. They really are. When they wake up 2 years from now and Donald Trump's still fucking president. You feel me? When they wake up 2 years from now and Donald Trump done won re-election because y'all couldn't deal with the fucking black agenda. That's how I feel. That's what's going to happen anyway. Anyway, go check out Jason Black at the Black Authority. Go check out that podcast and listen to how them Jamaicans and Africans come off. All except for, one or two. And like the guy on the very end. It's an eye-opener. Anyway, that's it for now, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and do my workout and see if I can get them abs going again. All right, TC, and I'm out.